Immersing Not Drowning, an autoethnographic study into audience onboarding for the evolution of Story 3, Having a Larp. It's been said that for some people, all immersive can be terrifying. A lot of immersive stuff is absolutely amazing. What I mean to suggest is that some immersive can be uncomfortable and terrifying to an audience. You don't know whether there's going to be audience participation, for example. You don't know whether you're really safe or whether you'll be brought in to play a role. These are not my words. They're from someone who really knows their stuff. Tim McQuillan-Wright, set designer on immersives such as War of the Worlds, Secret Cinema's Moulin Rouge, and others. The fact that the word immersive is used inconsistently doesn't help. Hence, onboarding, a concept I've stolen from business studies. The action or process of integrating a new employee into an organisation or familiarising a new customer or client with one's products or services. Good onboarding is part marketing. It helps folk buy and spread the word to their friends. But immersive audiences don't always know what to expect, and that is an uncomfortable feeling. And the discomfort is often there because it can be tricky to explain the show without giving away too much. Tim McQuillan-Wright again. My assertion is that good onboarding can do just that. It can engage and set expectations. My name is Harry Harold. I'm a LARPer. This is me at Odyssey, a LARP in the world of classical myth. And I'm an immersive experience enthusiast. This was me just before Secret Cinema's Bridgerton. As a participant, designer and crew member in live-action role-playing events, LARPs, I have a distinct experience of immersive storytelling. I'm looking for flow. As Bowman explains, full involvement, focus, and enjoyment in the process of an activity. I'm searching for active engagement in every immersive experience I attend. Whether or not I'm in a dungeon, I'm chasing that dragon. Sometimes the chase goes wrong. A pervasive game in a world of espionage started with a character briefing participants to trust no one and handing each a burner phone and earpiece for communications. I spent a pleasant 90 minutes or so in the streets of St. James's, ducking and dodging anyone who looked like they might be following me, and entirely missed the story planned for the audience. Only an idiot would have missed that what the organiser was telling us was to wear the phone so they could feed us the experience. I'd taken the phone off because a character had told me to trust no one. I've had active engagement for part of a LARP and lost it when I realised the end scene was plotted with no agency for participants to change it. Your story was how you got there. That is a perfectly legitimate use of the medium. My taste is not everyone's taste, and that's okay. But I wasn't expecting it, and it knocked me off my flow. This is the most astute and heartbreaking piece of feedback I've ever received. It was for our LARP All for One in the world of the Three Musketeers. We had swashbuckling sword fights. We had a sinister cardinal. We had horses. But what we didn't do is ensure everyone got the experience they wanted and expected. I have, I think, learned a little since then. Caveat. This is all in my experience as organiser, crew member and participant. These are the kinds of things we do, with some examples. Before the event, we write and respond and answer key questions from participants. Is this LARP for me? What are the themes? What are the expectations of conduct? What are the rules? This is the web page I first turned to as participant. If the organiser can't make this clear, I'm unlikely to go, unless I've got a reliable personal recommendation. This one is for the LARP Damon. This experience is for you if you like the following. Covers the core elements of the LARP. Carries on. Playstyle and pacing. Defining the experience of the LARP in familiar terminology. Familiar for LARPers anyway. Examples of what you can do at the LARP. and, crucially, what this LARP is not: an absolutely critical element, aiming to deal with misconceptions before you've travelled halfway across Europe to participate. What are the themes? The LARP Regis Reginae posed the question, what if Henry VIII had legalised polygamy instead of divorce? 60-odd participants, including 6 live wives, played out an alternate history of the weekend of his death. But what would it be like? Like this? Or this? Turns out, neither. The organisers wrote very particular material about the themes of the LARP. Core themes, very hard to avoid entirely. Possible themes, they'd be there, but some people might prefer to avoid them, and they could. Excluded themes, which should not appear in the game in any way. One core theme was King Henry using his absolute control of England abusively, both politically and personally. How, then, does a LARP make this behaviour enjoyable? How do you make it safe when different individuals have different definitions of what's fun? What are the expectations of conduct? Now, they vary. Different LARPs have different expectations. There's an entire corpus of work on this. I'm not the person to delve into it, but there's a document which does. The goal is to present a safe experience for all. LARPs often include a way for participants to moderate each other's behaviour without stepping entirely outside the game. A common technique is a hand gesture to inquire if another participant is okay with the way a scene is developing. Anything other than a clear thumbs up, and you stop what you're doing. All LARPs have rules. Here, if I were in person, I'd turn to the keynote speaker, who'd shake his head wisely at me, and I'd continue. Okay, the vast majority of LARPs have rules, written sets of principles governing interaction. Say there's a fight. A rule might be, if you take 3 hits with a rubber sword, fall over, you're dying. Some games use words, calls, to show things which are hard to represent otherwise. Strike down! If I hit you with my rubber weapon and shout strike down, fall over. Some games have more calls than other. I've counted 38 in one UK game. But let's consider another, Wing and a Prayer. It gives WAF characters the experience of running a sector control room in World War II, the emotional consequences of their work, and its pressures. The LARP ends in silence, punctuated by tears, as the first big raids hit London on September the 7th, 1940. Wing and a Prayer has fewer calls, 4 in fact. Stop the game if there's a serious injury or dangerous situation. It's an off-game safety call. I'll deal with it on Monday. Used if a player doesn't wish to do something their character should do. It lets folk remember we're participants as well as the characters we play. I need a cup of extra strong tea. Used if a player finds a situation too intense or overwhelming and needs to step away. This is psychological safety. Some LARPs allow people to participate in situations they'd never be able to outside of LARP. This is how you back out when you need to. Time in or out. The game starts or stops. You can be certain that whatever happens between these 2 calls is in-game. This call is the one that makes the magic circle clear. At the beginning of a LARP event, we might brief to enforce the background for the event, workshop relations between characters, and reiterate the conduct rules and safety techniques. But then we call time in. Everyone steps in the magic circle, and the experience begins, with, we hope, everyone on board, understanding the LARP, its themes, the expectations of conduct, and the rules. Because when you understand the experience sufficiently to become immersed in it, crucially, when you feel safe doing so, when you know how to interact with it, when you understand the character you're portraying without drowning in detail or confusion, that is the magic of LARP, and, for me, the magic of any immersive experience too. And then they get it. That is the beautiful moment. And I assert that good onboarding helps. Thank you.